It is 2 in the morning. She cannot sleep, so she opens her phone, and there it is, a dress, $3, a phone case, 99 cents, a children's toy, less than a coffee. She does what any rational person would do. She buys all 3. Multiply that moment by 416 million people. Multiply it across 90 countries. Multiply it across every Super Bowl, every algorithm, every perfectly engineered dopamine hit disguised as a deal. And you begin to understand the illusion. The prices are not real. The savings are not real. The company you think you are buying from is not what it appears to be. Temu did not build a shopping app. Temu built a psychological operation, wrapped in orange, powered by a loophole, and protected by the most powerful government on earth, one that is not yours. This is the story of the fastest growing e-commerce company in history, how it fooled the world and what it cost to do it. To understand Temu, you must first understand the man who built it. Colin Huang was born in Hangzhou, China, a prodigy, a chess obsessive, a software engineer who went to work for Google in Silicon Valley before returning to China with an idea so simple it was almost embarrassing. What if you removed every middleman between a factory and a customer's front door? No warehouse, no distributor, no retail markup. Just a factory, shipping directly to a phone. In 2015, he built Pinduoduo, a group buying platform that gamified shopping. Invite your friends, share a link, unlock a lower price. It spread through China like a virus. By 2020, Pinduoduo had more active users than Amazon. Then Huang looked west. In September 2022, he launched Temu in the United States. The corporate structure was architecturally obscure from day one. PDD Holdings incorporated in the Cayman Islands, principal offices listed in Dublin, Ireland, U.S. operations registered in Delaware and Massachusetts under a subsidiary called Whaleco.Inc. 3 jurisdictions, 1 product, 1 purpose, and 1 loophole that would make it all possible. Every empire is built on something. A patent, a network, a monopoly, a secret. Temu's empire was built on a 79-year-old law, Section 321 of the Tariff Act of 1930, known as the de minimis exemption, updated in 2016 to raise the threshold to $800. The rule is simple. Any package entering the United States worth less than $800 enters uninspected, untaxed, and virtually invisible to customs enforcement. Temu priced every single product on its platform below $800, not by coincidence, by design. In 2022 alone, U.S. Customs and Border Protection cleared over 685 million de minimis shipments, with, in their own words, insufficient data to properly determine risk. Temu and Shein alone were responsible for more than 30% of all packages shipped daily into the United States under this provision. Consider the arithmetic of what this means. In 2022, Gap paid $700 million in import duties. Temu paid nothing. David's Bridal paid $19.5 million in import duties. David's Bridal is now bankrupt. Forever 21, the iconic American retail chain, liquidated all 354 stores by April 2025. In their final public statements, they named Temu and Shein as direct causes. This was not competition. This was a structural weapon, a legal hack, a loophole so wide you could fly a cargo plane through it. And Temu flew millions of them. But cheap prices are only half the story. The other half is the question that nobody who clicked buy now ever thought to ask. Who made this? In June 2023, the U.S. House Select Committee on Strategic Competition between the United States and the Chinese Communist Party released its findings on Temu's supply chain. The language was not diplomatic. The committee found Temu had failed to maintain, and I'm quoting directly, even the facade of a meaningful compliance program with the Uyghur Forced Labor Prevention Act. Their conclusion, there is an extremely high risk that Temu's supply chains are contaminated with forced labor. Temu admitted it had no policy prohibiting goods from Xinjiang, the region where the Chinese Communist Party has conducted what the U.S. government calls a genocide against the Uyghur people through imprisonment, torture, forced sterilization, and the systematic exploitation of forced labor in factories. Researchers found that if you searched Temu's platform using Chinese keywords for Xinjiang cotton embedded directly into product listings, the results appeared. The products were there. The keywords were hidden in the source code of the app on your phone. Now consider the other half of that app. In 2023, Google suspended Temu's sister app Pinduoduo from the Play Store after security researchers found malware in versions of the application, code that operated well beyond anything a shopping platform would need. Multiple attorneys general have described the Temu app itself as spyware disguised as a shopping platform. Under China's national intelligence law, Chinese companies are legally obligated to share data with the government if requested. No exceptions, no refusals. PDD Holdings is a Chinese company. Temu is its product, and the data of 416 million users sits somewhere between a consumer's pocket and Beijing's reach. Every illusion eventually meets reality. For Temu, reality arrived on April 2, 2025. President Trump signed an executive order. The de minimis exemption for goods from China was closed, effective May 2nd. Every package Temu shipped from China to the United States would now face tariffs of up to 145%. The response was immediate, inevitable, catastrophic. Within days, Temu added import charges to every product on its U.S. platform. The $3 dress became $9. The $18 summer outfit became $45. The 99-cent phone case became $3. The illusion of cheap disappeared overnight. Within 2 weeks, the Temu app plummeted from number 3 in the App Store to number 85. The fastest-growing shopping app in history was in freefall. Temu reversed course. It halted all direct shipments from China to U.S. buyers. It switched its American storefront to display only products from U.S.-based warehouses. The prices, the central promise, the entire identity were gone. And the legal walls closed in from every direction. Over 20 U.S. state attorneys general had demanded answers about forced labor. Texas sued for illegal data harvesting. Kentucky accused the app of functioning as malware. Germany launched an antitrust investigation. European regulators began probing Digital Services Act violations. Indonesia blocked the app entirely. PDD Holdings stock fell 30% from its November 2025 peak. Revenue growth collapsed from 59% to single digits. The empire that burned through $3 billion in losses in 2023 alone, subsidized by Pinduoduo's profits in China, sustained by a loophole that no longer exists, was exposed for what it always was: a land grab disguised as a discount. So here is the verdict. Not a neutral one, not a balanced one. The evidence does not permit balance. Temu is not a shopping app. It is a 3-part operation. Part 1, a financial weapon built on a loophole that allowed it to undercut every American business that plays by the rules, paying no duties, entering millions of packages uninspected, destroying the retailers that employed American workers while paying none of the costs they paid. Part 2, a moral catastrophe built on supply chains that a bipartisan congressional committee found carry an extremely high risk of forced labor, on cotton possibly picked by people who have no choice, on factories connected to a genocide the United States government has formally recognized. Every dollar spent may be a dollar that funds it. Part 3, a data extraction machine built to harvest the most intimate details of your life, your location, your purchase history, your device, your network, all of it potentially available to a government that has made no secret of its intentions toward the West. Colin Hung briefly became the richest person in China. His net worth peaked at $48 billion. The de minimis loophole is now closed. The tariffs are in place. The prices have doubled. The app is falling in every chart that matters. But the data is already collected. The retailers are already closed. The factories are already running. And 416 million people around the world are still holding a phone with that orange icon on their screen. The illusion was never about cheap goods. The illusion was that there was no cost. There is always a cost. You just never saw who was paying it.